So I'm not here to talk about range, nor price, nor features, although I must say that this car does a pretty good job of it all. So stick around to the end to find out why I would recommend this car above everything else for the long term. And this is the all-new Tata Punch.EV. And it comes with a 35 kilowatt hour battery that's mated to a 90 kilowatt motor and produces a punchy 190 Newton meters of torque. This car gives an estimated range of about 270 kilometers, but let's be for real, that really comes down to your driving conditions. But fear not, Tata have an impressive charging network in 2025, and now check out the overall charging network all over the country. And the best part is it's still expanding. And believe it or not, it's actually punchy. It's got a sub 10 second 0 to 100 kilometer per hour time and a top speed of 140 kilometers per hour. Not that I'm going to be attempting it today. And do you know what my favorite feature on this car is? It's the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. Changing regeneration level on the fly is awesome. And that's not all. As for practicality, it's got a wheelbase of 2.4 meters paired with a ground clearance of 190 mm, which means you don't ever have to worry about the underbody of this car. Oh, and if you live in a city that is flooded during the monsoon, the rainwater flooding depth of this car is actually 350 mm. That's pretty awesome. And furthermore, this car comes with a 366 liter nifty boot space that can be folded down and expanded for much larger cargo. And as for charging on this car, the charger port is right at the front here. So you just slot in your car in front of the charger and it's good to go. It's a CCS Type 2 port, your AC and your DC. And Tata claims that with a portable 3-plug 15 amp charger, it's going to take about 13.5 hours. But then you can upgrade yourself to a 7.2 kilowatt fast AG charger. That'll drop time to about 5 hours. And because it's on Tata's newest EV platform, it can actually handle up to 50 kilowatts of DC charging, which means it'll bring down 10 to 80% in just about an hour. All right, that was enough of numbers, honestly. So let me hop in and let's go for a drive. All right, let me get it straight to the point while I'm waiting here at a stoplight. It's got a smaller size motor with less torque, but it's definitely punchy. The car comes in 3 drive modes that can be adjusted via buttons down here.
City drive mode. Sport drive mode.
So
activated. Economy drive mode activated.
Eco, City, and Sport. And let me tell you, they're so different. Like, unless you're in normal or you're in sports, you just don't get that instant torque. Like, in eco mode, there is a proper lag when it comes to like acceleration when you put the foot down on this car. But all the way in sports mode though, you actually have torque steer when you floor the car, which is only prevalent in much bigger motor and torque segments. So I was quite impressed, and I've definitely become a fan of these paddle shifters on each side for changing your regenerative braking. That is so intuitive. So there are 4 regenerative brake modes, starting with 0, which means nothing at all, the car just coasts, and then each ride click will take it up to a maximum of 3. But 3 is a bit unnatural. I am bringing it down to level 1, which I think is the best Another thing I really liked about the car is that side light on, my blind spots instantaneously pop up. Good touch there, Tata. And then as for ride handling on this car, the car's suspension at the front is a McPherson strut setup, whereas at the back it is a twist beam. And the thing about this is that it's paired with a very short wheelbase that I mentioned before, and exquisite amount of ground clearance. So it's just so easy to drive this car. And then what adds as a cherry on top in terms of driving, especially in the city in traffic like this, is your tall, commanding driving position. It's relaxed, but it's very upright, and you have a proper view of the bonnet. A button down here will access the 360-degree camera with guiding lines. What more could you want, honestly? And so suddenly, everything daunting in the city becomes so navigable. Like, doing a U-turn on this car is so damn easy because you lock the wheel on each side and you have a turning radius of under 5 meters. What? And as for creature comforts while actually driving the car around, you have seat ventilation, which works great. AC on this is pretty good, and even the cabin insulation right now, the lack of sound seeping in, is quite commendable. But I do want to point out that the steering wheel is absolutely light. Like, just look at this. Why is it so light? Even in sports mode, I was hoping it would get a bit more taut and heavy, but nope. And while nothing can and will substitute my joy for hard physical buttons, dials, rotors in the dashboard, Tata has met midway with the Punch.EV in the sense it's given static haptic feedback buttons all over the dashboard, as well as on the steering wheel. And I also noticed that this looks cool, the Tata illuminated screen, but I sometimes don't know where to press the horn, and this is definitely a fingerprint magnet if you're iffy about those things. Also, I was noticing this when I had to do a quick tight 3-point turn, but the rotary dial here to change your gears may look cool, but it's on the slower side, and so I do caution when you're driving this to just be a bit patient for the right drive mode to be selected. But
Sport drive mode activated.
look at that amount of torque. Exceptional. It's a proper punching machine. All right, back to eco
Economy
mode.
drive mode activated.
All right, and as for the exterior on this car, it's tall, it's upright, and honestly reminds me of a smaller Nexon. So starting at the front, I already have the charging flap open, which I talked about right before, and your engine is also open. Hydraulic fluids, everything is covered up, your 12-volt battery, and then more brake fluids. So that's pretty much your normal engine. And then you do have a wire tab here for an emergency opening of the charger port in case it gets locked. At the front here, you have a Robocop light DRL that extends throughout the bonnet with sequential side lights on each side. These are LED, including your headlight, which were projectors in the last generation, so good going on the upgrade there, Tata. You have your Tata badging on top of the charging flap, cutouts for your radiators, including your horns on each side, and then one of your 360-degree camera, a bottom cutout for your radiator, basically your AC intake. And coming to the side, you have functional cutouts for aerodynamics. Quite a nice touch there. And then your tires on the side are Amperion EV tires of 195/60 R16s, and you have a additional EV badging on the side. So coming back up, you have LED side lights here with a dual toned sort of paint. This car is also offered in various color formats. And then here's the practical bit about this car. The doors open to a proper 90-degree, both at the front and at the back. Also, that was a nice thud, if you ask me. On top, you have roof rails, though I don't know if they're functional. Also a sunroof, but just on the front half of the car. Coming to the door handles, you do get automatic push to lock here. And these mirrors here are both automatically foldable as well as adjustable. So more of that plastic cladding around the car. And at the back, you have this very curved sort of C-pillar. Oh, a shark fin antenna at the top, and then a top mount stoplight. And then these are projector halogen lights at the back, but I really am in love with this tri-arrow sort of Tata EV badging at the backlight. More functional vents down here, though I'm not too sure of how that aids with the aerodynamics. Light reflectors at the back and a bit of plastic cladding at the bottom. And you have a rear wiper at the back, badging another of your 360 camera, a Punch.EV, and parking sensors at the bottom. As for the interiors on the Tata Punch, there's a tall pavement here, and the door actually doesn't scrape. That's amazing. I've big bottle holder here. I've actually fit in an entire bottle and a smaller one there. You have your window controls, of which the driver's is one touch down, and your electronic mirror controls are here, including to fold them in. And you have a tweeter that's tucked in with another small cubby, probably for your keys. But your driver's seat, and I do want to show you the ventilated seat button is here on the side. A bit of a hit or miss. Like, it works great, but I really don't know what level I'm on most of the time. Your start on and off button is here, AC vent here. And the Punch's interior is where I feel they did most of the redesigning. It's got upright doors and a very nice play of colors and texture in here. So starting with your driver's seat, I've already shown you the seat ventilation, but you also get adjustment for your steering wheel. Just the height though, no reach. Like, there's a lever down on the side for that. And then you have height adjustment for your seat, and then you have a reach adjustment down here. They're all manual, by the way. And then your height on the side, as well as your reclining on with the other tab. And it's a 2-spoke steering wheel, and on the left are your media controls, so your volume buttons, your fast forward buttons, your channel input, picking up and putting down calls, and a voice assistant.
Say a command.
Turn off the AC.
Sure, AC is turned off.
And then it turned off. Coming back to the steering wheel, on the left hand side you have your wipers. So including at the back. And then your speed of the wipers. And then you have a paddle shifter on the left, which, if you saw, changes the region level between 0, 1, 2, 3 being the highest. So 4 levels in total. The right paddle being getting it stronger, and the left paddle being getting it softer. On the right hand side you have your indicators, so up and down for left and right, and that promptly opens your blind spot on whichever side. And then a turn twist on the outside for basically your headlight, an automatic and off, a parking light, and then your headlight. Also, there's a twist here to adjust your headlight angle. Finally, on the right hand side of your steering wheel are your cruise control and menu control buttons. So you press it, you toggle through different menus. I'll go over the 10.25-inch driver's display as well as the center console on a different video in depth, so be on the lookout for that. And then cruise control and other buttons are all here. So moving on to the center console area, it's another 10.25-inch touchscreen. The cabin comes with a 2.5 PM air filter, and HVAC controls are down here. Touch capacitive, so these are to open your charge port, your defrosting, your hill descent, emergency hazard lights, your boot opening, locking, unlock, and then your camera. This down here is a cooled wireless charging pad that does do the trick, and it does have Apple CarPlay, which at the moment is being connected wirelessly. This is for charging. My phone needed to charge faster than via the wireless charging pad. And then coming down, you have your gear knob, your electronic parking brake that you can engage and disengage here. And then you have an auto hold on and off button here, and two smaller size bottle holders, but I'll be honest with you, they don't fit anything bigger than a small water bottle. You also get a small pocket here for maybe your key, and then an armrest here with a small cubby holder, probably just for quick paperwork. Then coming to the passenger side, you do get seat ventilation here, and it's a manual adjustment of reach as well as recline. No height adjustment on the passenger side though. But then that brings me to the AC vent, a vinyl sort of dashboard finishing, hard plastics up here, tri-arrow Nexon Tata EV pattern embedded here, and then your glove box, which is also cooled. I have my DSLR there, there's a lamp there, it's cool. And on top, I have my camera mount stuck, but there is a small sunroof that you have to manually open and close. But then you do get to open the glass with a motor. And then up here you have an SOS button and basically your passenger on and off. You also have your lights up here. And then one thing I found out fascinating was on this side there is a mirror, but there is no grab handle. And then on this side there is no mirror and no grab handle. I don't know why Tata did that. Okay, and coming to the back, your door handles are actually on top, and you have more of that light white perforated pattern at the back. But then coming in on the door, tweeter, electronic mirrors, a small cubby here, massive bottle holders there. That's a good thud, I think. And you are honestly quite comfy at the back seat. It's a bit of an upright sort of seating, and because the sunroof doesn't expand to the back, it does feel a bit small, but you have decent headroom. It does come with an armrest, though no cup holders, and then very prominent ISOFIX points on each side. You do have a pocket here. There isn't any AC vent at the back or charging ports, but a cubby here for some of your smaller knickknacks. And I'm sure you're curious as to what the space at the back is like, so I'm going to scoot over to the side behind my driving position, and I want to show you that there is decent amount of knee room. Footwell room is okay, shoulder room is pretty nice, and headroom is also pretty decent. So on longer drives with the center armrest down, I feel that you would be quite comfy. Although something I just noticed that Tata again did some cost cutting on is, where's my center headrest? So having driven around the Tata Punch.EV for a bit now, I can definitely tell that it's an all-new generation of EV by Tata, and it's actually on a brand new platform called the Acti.EV. So it's a bit of a wordplay on the word active. Nice one, Tata. And it definitely feels much more refined and developed as compared to the previous generation of Nexons. So from seamless integration of these regeneration levels on downhills to the effortless activation of auto hold on any sort of incline, as well as the deactivation, it is not jerky at all. And I even think, though I might be wrong, but Tata's drivetrain system has also been improved. And I think Tata's average energy consumption is so much better on this, especially in urban driving with traffic. And then the second place where that's reflected, this development, is the cabin here. It feels a whole lot more sophisticated and in with the times. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, it's met the checklist in this new age of basic features like a 360-degree camera, a wireless phone charger, as well as connectivity. I have Apple CarPlay connected at the moment wirelessly. And rewind to the beginning of the video. Do you remember what I said at the beginning about why you should prefer this Indian EV over everything else? So here's some food for thought. Well, the thing is, how do I put it? So how often do you think about after sales when you purchase a new car? I personally, I think I would inquire about whether it's good or not, and then two, whether the company keeps a stock of the spare parts that are needed on this car. But how often do we actually ourselves inquire, oh, but how much is this replacement cost going to be if I had to change a headlight, a bumper, a windshield? You never know what can happen, right? Especially when you're out on our crazy roads sometimes. And please do keep in mind that EV tech across the brands are relatively new, so they're not going to start off cheap at any point. And that, I think that is the deal breaker. Indian made replacement parts, at least in Nepal, is going to just be cheaper than your Chinese, Korean, or even Japanese counterparts. Oh, and I hate to break this news, but that import tariff cutoff subsidy that the government of Nepal has given on purchasing EVs, like brand new EVs, bringing them in through the border, the lessening of things like VAT and import tariffs, well, that doesn't necessarily as easily translate when it comes to spare parts. And as a result, they again become much more costlier. At the end of the day, while cheap sticker prices might initially dazzle you, do think long term, because you are going to be with the car you purchase for quite a while. And let me remind you, even the most robust of machines do have its bad days. Anyway, that was me for this review. Do drop a comment down below and let me know what you thought about it, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.